Yeah, no, I think those illusions, they're not something that gets talked about enough, especially when it's from a military pilot's perspective or a drone operator, because, like you said, even they can get fooled, and we take these narratives from military professionals as gospel, and that if they say something happened, it did happen, and it's just in the case of David Fravor, this is what made me wanna look into some of the statistics associated with pilot error, and this is military, pilots. This is coming from the human factor analysis and classification system, which was developed by Navy scientists, and they show perceptual errors and decision errors recur in even the most experienced air crews. Perceptual errors are involved in 30% of military accidents. Many HFACS accidents involve shared misperception and shared situational awareness breakdown across a cockpit or an entire formation, spatial disorientation, misidentification, mode confusion, expectation bias. I don't know what all of these mean specifically, but like it's clear that like multiple observers in the same context can make the same
Mhm.
mistake. So when I hear guys like David Fravor, who are no doubt skilled military pilots, say that there's a 99.9% confidence that they got this right, it seems like it's possible, and maybe even leaning towards probable that he may be overestimating his abilities in the cockpit.
What are the chances that your eyes betrayed you when you saw the Tic Tac? Low.
0.
Well,
I mean,
it's
I'm
not zero. So let
okay.
me be clear.
90.
Yeah.
I am 99.9%. So 0.1%. My eyes deceive me.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we'll never know with that particular case because there's no real evidence that was preserved from that time. So all we've really got are these essentially these eyewitness reports, and it'd be great if some radar tapes or something come up in the future. But everyone who's talked about it says there isn't actually any data from that event. So essentially, it's an eyewitness account, and we've got lots and lots of eyewitness accounts from people who describe the most amazing things. Giant triangles hovering over their houses, orbs floating down their hallways, or um, being abducted by aliens. And we got hundreds of thousands of such sightings, which are incredible from the eyewitness perspective. But I think this. I was thinking about this morning, and it's something that is a fundamental thing to ufology, and I call it the pattern.
Mm,
The pattern in ufology is that eyewitness testimony never matches the video testimony, the video evidence. You get these amazing stories from eyewitnesses, and then you either get no video evidence or you get video evidence that doesn't match it. You get like there was a story of like there's a cop who was driving down the road, a UFO came in, hovered over his car, like, the engine cut out, a lot of bright lights. He got out of the car, looked up, it was this amazing kaleidoscope of lights, and then it flew off into the distance. So at that point, he
mm,
gets his camera out, starts videoing, and we see a little dot that's off in the distance with flashing lights that looks a bit like a helicopter.
yeah.
And we got David Fravor, and we've got this account of this Tic Tac that's flying around his plane and doing all kinds of weird stuff, and then we get some video of supposedly the same thing, which is just a fuzzy dot in the distance doing nothing at all amazing. It's this consistent pattern that we have of amazing things like the jellyfish in Iraq. There's this jellyfish video, and it's described as, kind of rising up and down and then disappearing into the water. We get the video of it just kind of drifting in the wind. It doesn't do anything amazing.
Mm,
There's a recent case, I think the USS Jackson, where a guy talks about seeing these bright lights rising up out of the water and then kind of zipping off. We see video with from the same incident, and it's just two dots kind of moving slowly across the screen that are consistent with being planes. So we get this very, very consistent pattern where we never get the amazing stuff on video. There's always like talk of like, there is something incredible on video that, you hear, a giant craft the size of a football field moving at Mach 2 underwater, and we have it on video. We never get to see that video. You get to hear the story, but we never get to see the video. This one here, this video we just talked about, is described as a Hellfire missile bouncing off an orb, which continues on its flight as if nothing happens. And then sometimes the Hellfire missile is split in two by this orb. None of that happens. None of that happens in the video. It's, we got these descriptions, which aren't even eyewitness descriptions. They're people who have just seen the video. They're eyewitnesses of the video telling a story about the video, and that becomes this amazing thing.
Yeah,
So, you've really got the ground truth. The actual what happened is what appears on the video. It's not what people are saying.
It's funny because we don't really accept these sort of explanations when it comes to things that are outside of ufology or anything in the realm of religious, because let's say I told you that I got in a fight at a gas station and then some guy pulled out a gun and I caught the bullet, which would be an extremely anomalous thing. And then I showed you a video that was like kind of grainy of a guy like pulling out something that looked like a gun, and like you could see my hand go up and maybe you could hear something. Maybe there's no audio. And then I'm like, there, did you see that? You'd be like, fucking bullshit. Like you did not just catch that bullet. But I feel like when it comes to UFOs, people are willing to hear 100% of a story, and then if like 20% of the video kind of has roots in the story, then they just sort of like extrapolate the other 80% into like, oh, well, it's like, it's got to be there somehow, like whether it's clear. Yeah.
Well, I think that the thing about the pattern though isn't so much that, that people are doing that. It's that it's in itself, the existence of this pattern is very strong evidence that there isn't anything more than the videos. Because if there was, it would get caught on video at some point. People there's always excuses, and there's been excuses for decades as to why we can't catch these things on video. But those excuses do not stack up, and we've got literally billions of 4K cameras in the world that people have on their person at all times, and people are claiming to have these long sightings of things. They claim to have seen things that they last a long time. There was a case recently in Colorado. 4 people saw a object, a oval object that was 300 to 400 feet long, hovering over Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado Springs, and they saw it do that for 30 seconds. None of them had cameras.
These uniform panels that seemed to be all pentagons, but were all irregularly shaped, like a mother of pearl or a white ceramic color. And it was a perfect sunny Colorado bluebird day, 50 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And you could see these panels move as they kind of glisten in the sun. We were all just transfixed on what we were seeing, trying to perceive it. If I were to guess, at least 30 seconds.
So yeah, it's a cool story, but no one took a 400-foot object. It would have been visible, literally would have been visible to over 100,000 people in Colorado Springs.
I was going to say,
giant object over
like all the
Cheyenne
neighborhoods
Mountain.
around that mountain. I've been in that area before. Like
It's the middle of the day as well. Yeah, and there's the neighborhoods that go almost right up to the entrance of Cheyenne Mountain around there. And so there would have been people that were much closer than he was that would have seen this 300. It would have looked like this enormous thing hovering over the mountain. But no, we've got this pattern of amazing eyewitness testimony and really crappy video. And unfortunately, the really crappy video is probably the closest thing to reality.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, there's a lot more waiting for you. Join the Zach Show 2.0 to unlock the full video and audio version of this episode, plus bonus content you won't find anywhere else. Exclusive AMAs, the entire back catalog of premium episodes, and the ability to submit topics and questions for future shows. Subscribe today at thezachshow.supercast.com. I'll see you there.